So in today's video, I am supposed to share with you guys 3 stories. But I want to warn you this first. 3 of my stories are about the ghosts. Are you scared of ghosts? Alright. Of course, 2 of my stories are true, with the other one which is a total lie. Without further ado, let's dive into my stories. Okay, so before we get into my first story, I'd like to suggest you that while listening, try to catch if I am telling the truth or the lie. Okay, the first story is about daylight ghosts in my uncle's house. Some 10 years ago, I was still a university student. I lived with my uncle. His house is located in a small village in the suburb of Bangkok. There's so many times when I was home alone. Normally, I enjoy reading books or binge watching some English shows in order to practice my English. But oftentimes I fell asleep. I remember the incident that happened to me repeatedly from time to time. When I was napping, I heard someone knocking at my door and calling my name. Of course, at first I thought it was my uncle calling me to help with the grocery, or something else, as usual. So I woke up with panic, but I was ready to help. So I went to the door and opened it. To my surprise, no one was there. So I just wanted to double check. So I called his name, but no one was answering. So, who was actually knocking at my door? Do you believe in this story or not? Okay, my second story is about ghosts at night. Back in my middle school time, I was around 14 or 15 or so. I often saw ghosts in my own home in the countryside. One night, around 2 a.m. in the morning, I woke up to go to the bathroom, but before I managed myself to get out of my bed, I saw something dark like a shadow floating back and forth at the windows. I was too scared to move. I was like lay still, until it's gone. I couldn't sleep that night, so I went to my grandma's room, asking her to sleep in her room that night. And in the morning, I shared the story with her. Do you believe in this story or not? My last story is about ghosts in the river. I remember I was 10. I live in the countryside. There was no such proper swimming pool like in the big cities. Just like other kids around my age, the river in the dry season was always a favorite place to go. My mom wanted me to practice swimming in the river because that's how she learned to swim when she was a kid. So one day I asked her to go to the river. She allowed me to go, but she told me not to get far away from other people. Of course, I took her advice because I was scared too. On that day, I wanted to practice opening my eyes under the water because I saw it on the TV shows and it was cool. Once I opened my eyes, I saw something like a dark shadow approaching me, trying to do something or say something to me. I was so scared. That incident got me thinking a lot about what my grandma always told me, that there's ghosts everywhere in the river, and the ghosts could take our life to substitute their place. Since then, I stopped going to the river. Do you believe in this story or not? Let's guess what the 2 stories that are real and which one is a make-believe.